wisdom,
prudentia,
justice,
justitia,
temperance,
temperantia,
courage.
fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Stoic podcast. My name's Steve, and this is a podcast where we explore the ancient philosophy of Stoicism and sometimes other related philosophies and how we might apply their ways of life to our modern life to live a calmer, more well-rounded life, a life of virtue, a life of self-reflection, and a life of action. Thank you, Philip, for supporting the Sunday Stoic podcast on Patreon, by the way. Philip's helping to keep the lights on by donating at patreon.com/SundayStoic. So this week we're going to begin looking at the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 5. I've chosen Book 5 as sort of in the middle of the book, and I think we'll see a lot of the themes that Marcus brings up in other parts of the Meditations here. So we'll look at his writings, talk about the themes, maybe think about how we might be able to use his example in our own lives, on our own reflections, our own journaling or meditations, as we ourselves try to reflect on who we are, where we've been, what we're doing, where we're going, and how we can improve. The Meditations of the Emperor Marcus Antonius, edited with translation and commentary by A.S.L. Farquharson. Book 5, Number 1. At dawn of day, when you dislike being called, have this thought ready. I am called to man's labor. Why then do I make a difficulty if I am going out to do what I was born to do, and what I was brought into the world for? Is it for this that I am fashioned, to lie in bedclothes and keep myself warm? But this is more pleasant. Were you born then to please yourself? In fact, for feeling, not for action? Can't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, the bees, each doing his own work, helping for their part to adjust a world? And then you refuse to do a man's office, and don't make haste to do what is according to your own nature. But a man needs rest as well. I agree, he does. Yet nature assigns limits to rest, as well as to eating and drinking. And you nevertheless go beyond her limits, beyond what is sufficient. In your own actions only, this is no longer so. There you keep inside what is in your power. The explanation is that you do not love your own self, else surely you would love both your nature and her purpose. But other men who love their own crafts wear themselves out in labors upon them, unwashed and unfed, while you hold your nature in less honor than the smith his metalwork, the dancer his art, the miser his coin, the lover of vainglory his fame. Yet they, when the passion is on them, refuse either to eat or sleep, sooner than refuse to advance the objects they care about, whereas you imagine acts of fellowship to bring a smaller return, and to be deserving of less pains. 2. How simple to reject and wipe away every disturbing or alien imagination, and straightway to be in perfect calm. 3. Make up your own mind that you deserve every word and work that is according to nature. And do not allow the ensuing blame or speech of any men to talk you over. But if it is right to be done or said, do not count yourself undeserving of it. Those others have their own selves to govern them, and use their several inclinations. Don't look around at that, but walk straight away, following your own and the common nature, for the path of them both is one. I find Marcus very relatable in this first reading because I myself am a bit of an insomniac, and I
am very much so not a morning person. I get up, I feel like crap in the morning, to be honest with you. It's almost like a disease, like feel terrible. Sometimes can't even see right. And I can't think very clearly. I'm grumpy, I'm irritable, and I've always been that way since I was a little kid. I was late to school all the time in elementary school because I was so bad at getting up in the morning. It's never been something I could do well. And I can lay there awake for hours at night from time to time, or go to sleep then wake up. And apparently Mark has suffered from similar afflictions, not being able to get to sleep. But then also he would take medicine to help him sleep, which had opium and other things in it. And then it would make him really groggy in the morning. And so here he is giving himself a pep talk, something he can remind himself of in the morning to try to get him out of bed. And the idea is, you are a human being. And, according to his view of providence and things, the Logos, he has the spark of divine reason in him. He has a purpose on this earth to do human things, to use his power of reason to do good in the world. And he has a job. His role is emperor. He needs to do that job, to fulfill that job, to be active. And he can't do that by laying under his covers and taking a nap. So he says, you have to get up. You have to do the duty you were put here for. And look at the animals. The animals toil away endlessly. The ants are always doing their job. You don't see an ant walk away from the colony and watch Netflix for an hour. The ant's always doing what ants do. Humans are here to use their power of reason and to live as part of a society. And therefore, that is your job, to do those things. And so he is telling himself this to give him a pep talk to get him to get himself out of bed. And then towards the end, he talks about what we think of as flow. He says, remember, like, other people have jobs too, and they get into them. Like there are people who do metalwork who are so into what they're doing, they forget to go to sleep, they forget to eat, they're dirty, and they don't care. They are in the zone. They're working on their craft. And when you're in the zone in your craft, you don't want to sleep, you don't want to eat, you are focused on the task at hand. And that reminds me of that concept of flow that we hear about these days. And he's saying, I should be able to do that in my job. It's probably a lot harder to get into flow, though, if you're constantly bombarded by people asking for things. I could see how that would be quite difficult. A little bit easier if you're in a workshop, no one's messing with you, and you have a project to work on. But he's bringing this up. Like, remember, other people have their jobs, and they get into them. Why? There's no reason why I can't get into my job to fulfill my role. And he is reminding himself that his role is important, and he should give it as much or more effort than a metal worker would give their own position. In the second reading, he just reminds us, kind of like Epictetus would, if you're ever disturbed by a thought or something that just is bugging you, something is in your brain getting in the way of your contentment and happiness, remember, you can simply reject it. It's an impression that you can either assent to or reject, and then you can reject it and be back in perfect calm. That's the goal of being a sage, kind of having a constant mental calmness, which maybe you can find in a Buddhist master or something, but I've never actually met anyone who's perfectly good at this. But I would love to be on the path towards that kind of contentment. And the last reading, he's reminding himself to live up to his nature, his role once again. And remember that it's his job to make up his own mind, to make sure his acts and his words are according to nature. And so if something is right to be said or done, then he should say it or do it. It doesn't matter if the people around him will reject it. It's not up to him to worry about what others will think. If something's right, he should do it. He should say it. Other people have their own governing principles to govern them. We can't control them. They are out of our power. But if we know something to be right, then it's our job to act and not worry about the opinions of others. So he says, don't look around. Follow the path that you know you should be on. You should be on a path. And remember that your own nature and the common nature lead you to the same path. They are one. So your own nature, your own guiding principles, and the will of the Logos, as it were, are part of the same thing. And they lead you in the same direction. They won't pull you in two directions. They are part of the same plan, essentially. The same spark of the divine that's in you is part of the divine that governs the universe, as Marcus would see it. So we can take comfort in the fact that emperors didn't want to get out of bed either. He struggled with the same things we do. And it's good to remind ourselves of the basic principles of our life philosophy, that we can jot it down. Remember, you can just say no. I am going to get up. I'm going to do my job. You can say no to disturbing thoughts that are against your principles. Say, no, this is not. You are just a thought. You are not what you claim to be. I have a job to do. And you can say, not only that, but I know what is right, and I will speak up. I will walk the right path. I will do my part as part of a human in this society. I don't care if it's unpopular to follow science. I don't care if it's unpopular to stand up for the oppressed. If I think it's right, then I shall do it. And if you do that, you are truly following the path of your own Logos. All right, everyone. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day. If you're listening to this on Sunday, enjoy the end of the weekend. And I look forward to hearing from you. SundayStoic@gmail.com. And until I see you again, remember, put the stuff into practice and seize the day. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team. Earn rewards by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com. And as Steve always says, Carpe diem.